first meeting. And can I have a motion to,
Well, if does anybody have any additions or corrections, first of all?
no, a motion to accept the minutes?
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're ready for you, Laschelle.
Okay. At our May 12th meeting, we awarded a new contract for our auditing service. And it's a company by the name of SB Company, LLC. It'll start this coming fall. We also awarded our new lawn care contract, and Woodbine was the only bidder that we had. They've had it for the last 25 years probably, but they do a wonderful job, and so they got a new 3-year contract. We also awarded the bid for our new production well at Meadows 2. Came in under bid for something for a change, so that was good, at $1.6 million. And we introduced ordinance 78 and, ordinance 229 and ordinance 230. We'll be talking about those today, and then we'll hold a public hearing on those next month. And then we introduced an ordinance to repeal ordinance number 132, it was ordinance number 231. And that was, 132 was an old ordinance that we put in place for sewer allocations when we had limited sewer capacity, and they had to be for certain projects. So that will be going away now that the expansion is just about done. That frees up more sewer capacity.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions for her? Okay, we'll move on to new business. And first on the business is case number 03-24, the Sheriff's Department Evidence Storage Facility. Do you want to tell us a little about that?
Yes, ma'am. So this is a two-phase development. We're only approving phase 1 and then the building pad and parking area. So the applicant is requesting final approval for the two-phase project as referenced above. Phase 1 consists of a new sheriff's evidence storage building, which consists of 20,611 square foot building with associated parking and infrastructure. Phase 2 consists of a 2-story, 52,521 square foot sheriff's headquarters, but they're only doing this pad site only. The proposed site is located on the north side of the existing sheriff's department and to the east of both the police barracks and the Board of Elections facility, which was the old Leonardtown Library. The project received concept approval from the Leonardtown Planning Commission on November 18, 2024. The project has received final approval from St. Mary's County Public Works and Transportation on April 25th, St. Mary's Soil Conservation District on April 29th, and the Town of Leonardtown Capital Projects Department and Leonardtown Planning Department May 5th, 2025. Final architectural plans were submitted to the State Fire Marshal on May 9th, addressing all comments. And I need to amend the staff report. We have since received Fire Marshal approval, which was May 15th. So the consultant submitted revised the drawings to the State Highway, addressing all comments received, and anticipates an approval very shortly from them. So the sample motion is to move to approve with conditions, delay or deny the final site development plan and facade approval for case number 3-24 evidence storage building with associated parking and utilities at phase 2 Sheriff's new headquarters pad site only, located in the Governmental Center complex, pending only the State Highway final approval. I have Drew with the Department of Public Works here. If you guys have any questions, or I certainly can answer, hopefully, most questions. There should be drawings in your packets. And then I also just attached the new revised facade drawings.
then?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
It's the same facade you guys had looked at in the fall. We just adjusted the color that requested, you had requested it from the meeting minutes in October, November. There was a request to make it kind of more consistent with the other governmental buildings.
Yeah, so the buildings in the concepts middle were almost like a teal green, I think.
I remember them.
But yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for me?
I just have one more thing to add. I know
Okay,
Mr.
did you
Bailey-
want to come up and?
I'm happy to stay, but if you want me to talk in front of you guys here. One of the things that I believe Mr. Bailey said was you guys can do a conditional approval based on state highway approval. I'm not sure if you're giving them the option to do an approval without that or not, but I know both the sheriff's office, we have Assistant Sheriff Stafford here with us today to talk about any of their operational needs. He can address that. The sheriff's office is very gung-ho on trying to get this up and off the ground. They have a lot of space issues where they're currently at, and we really like to try and get this through the process for procurement and out on the street. The real traffic impacts of this development are not going to really affect much activity on the Governmental Center until the second building is constructed. That funding was recently moved out to 2028. So the construction of that building is probably in the 2030-ish time range, or the opening of that building. So the county feels that there's plenty of time to address any concerns that the state highway may come back with or may have comments on, and would very much like, as with the sheriff, very much like to try and do what we can to move forward on this project as quickly as possible. Understand everybody has their own requirements, and it's just kind of the plug from the county for can we get moving on this.
If I mean, just out of curiosity,
Yes,
when
sir.
was the SHA's timeframe in response to your resubmission?
The first submission, they had, I think it was about 40 days.
So you thinking maybe 40 days again?
Potentially, they had, there was 4 divisions that had reviewed it, and I think each of them had 4 to 5 comments, so if they're only reviewing those individual 4 comments, it may be faster than 40 days, but it's a state agency, it goes into their system, and it's kind of a black hole until it pops back out. So we could get it back sooner than the 40 days, but I know our procurement office won't let us take this out on the street until we have, approval from the town and are ready to go.
And I would just say that, I mean, anything state highway is gonna require is gonna be improvements on the state highway. It's not gonna
Yes.
affect the site plan, so I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, there's very few people in this building, correct?
Good afternoon. At the maximum on a daily basis would be no more than 15 to 20 people inside the building.
It's not a huge building, but the other one will have more of an impact.
And some of these people are already on the governmental campus, isn't it? Correct. Yeah, so it kind of a relocation of existing staff.
I mean, since they got the fire marshal approval, I think that was more concerning, but I don't think it's something to hold it up for. I mean, they have submitted to state highway, we've
Correct.
seen comment, it's just the second round, I don't think it's anything to hold it up for.
So if we approved it and then the state highway,
They still have to meet the state highway requirements because they need a, I mean, if they're entering onto the state highway. But they have submitted, it's just going back and forth right now, it's not like hasn't been even just submitted.
And if, yeah, if you granted approval and I issued them a building permit, and they haven't addressed state highway comments, that I don't have to give them a UNO
Right.
until that's done. So there is checks and balances to ensure, but I don't suspect that they're not going to do it.
Well, we're covered under, if we say pending the Maryland State Highway approval when we do the,
Well, so what Drew's suggesting that is he'd like to have approval now, and then me manage the project after the building permit is issued.
without the pending.
Yes, correct, because if you do it pending, then I have to wait until State Highway approves it to issue them a building permit.
Okay. Thank
Totally
you.
up to you guys, but thank you for listening to it.
Anybody else have any questions or?
What is this here? Is this the building on the right?
The one in the back.
offices?
This would be the one in the back, all the way to the east of your drawing. That's in your. There's a drawing
So
of
if I'm
the.
looking at the sheriff's office now, it's this way, right?
It's directly towards the
Right,
field. Yes.
I meant to, sorry, this picture.
Right. So there's a other picture. Let me just show you real quick.
Sorry.
Well, you're good.
Another row of attachments when I looked at it.
So this is the current sheriff's building.
Right.
And this building is going to be back here.
Okay.
The old library sits here, and the our state police barracks is here.
What were they putting in here? Remember, wasn't something gonna go behind? I thought maybe
Well,
it's this one.
they
I'm
have an
thinking.
access coming back through here,
Okay.
but that's it.
Okay, perfect.
Good?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. That was it for me, Jean.
Okay. You ready? Anybody make a motion?
Yeah, I can make a motion. I'll sit up here. I move to approve the final site development plan and facade approval for case number 3-24, evidence storage building facility with associated parking and utilities and Phase 2 new sheriff's headquarters pad site located in the Governmental Center complex, period.
Second.
I'll second.
All those approved say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're ready to go for this part. The next order of business is the Town Municipal Code Amendment to Chapter 78, Ordinance 99.
Yes. So the town planning department is notifying the planning commission of required changes of the Town Municipal Code Chapter 78. These changes are required by the Federal Emergency Management Agency National Flood Insurance Program. This is going to be done through Ordinance number 229, which was introduced to Town Council on May 12, 2025. The town is required to update Chapter 78 floodplain regulations because a flood insurance study report has been completed and additional requirements must be met under Section 1361 of the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968 as amended. It must be emphasized that all the standards specified in the 44 CFR Part 60.3D of the National Flood Insurance Program regulations must be enacted and legally enforced by a legally enforced document. This includes adoption of the current effective FIS report and the flood insurance rate map firm, which we just got the new ones, to which the regulations apply and other modifications made by that map revision. So, the town is required as a condition to continue eligibility in the NFIP to adopt or show evidence of adoption of the floodplain management regulations that they meet the standards of 4460.3. So in this package, I've provided you section 78 of that ordinance, and in red are, I think, some 5 changes or additions, and there is a summary of those changes on the second sheet there in the staff report to take you directly to the changes. So there was 7 changes that needed to be done. Now this is something that is required by the federal government, so it's really, the planning department is not looking for recommendations or anything. I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed on what was happening with that ordinance.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, I hopefully can answer them.
Did anybody have any questions after? So then we can move on to the Town Municipal Code amendments
Yes, ma'am.
for Chapter 155 and the ordinance number 230.
Correct.
Okay.
So, the planning department is requesting recommendation to the town council for ordinance number 230, chapter 155 zoning amendments. In order to meet the goals and actions items of the recently adopted 2025 comprehensive plan, staff has prepared ordinance number 230 to include the following revisions. Update and add definitions to sections 155-4, pages 2 through 24. Create a separate use category for townhouses, single-family dwelling attached, and included with that is a definition shown on page 7, line 280. Adding townhouses as a permitted use to residential single-family district, page 28, line 109. And page 37, line 1469, removing townhouses since they are no longer considered under multifamily units. Adding townhouses as a permitted use to commercial highway district, as shown on page 52, line 2050. Staff will also be reviewing other chapters of the town code and proposing revisions that will support the comprehensive plan in the future. So the town planning department is recommending a motion to move to recommend, or you can delay the to town council ordinance number 230, chapter 155 zoning amendments. And I have attached a draft ordinance number 230 there that is showing with all the definitions in red and any of the other changes in there. And thank you to Janine for doing all this.
Maybe, Janine, could you just give a little bit more reason why we felt to do what we needed to do?
Absolutely. So for record, Janine Harrington, Assistant Town Administrator. So as we were looking through the comprehensive plan updates, one of the things that we noticed was a lot of jurisdictions, especially throughout Maryland, have single-family detached dwellings, single-family attached dwellings as separate uses. So that's a single-family home and a townhouse unit. So in order to kind of come into compliance with everything that's kind of going around with the planning world, we decided to break those out as separate uses, and that will kind of lead to more changes. We'll be doing a comprehensive review of the zoning code and kind of seeing what other changes need to be implemented. But this was the first thing that we could implement out of the comprehensive plan to kind of get the ball rolling and get things moving. It'll be a huge help to our requirement by the state to include more affordable housing and different options of housing. So that way in the different districts, there's opportunities to add townhomes instead of just having the single family or a multifamily unit. So it really does provide a wide range of opportunities across the town to increase the housing that's needed or to provide a different type of housing that's needed. And we're going to be looking at a permitted table of uses. I don't know why that sounds weird in my head. Table of permitted uses that will be a little bit more clearer down the road. And then we have a lot of stuff that we're looking at for parking and landscaping and a lot of other requirements. So this is just the tip of the iceberg to get us moving forward. But if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer those.
I already got it for you.
this is the motion for ordinance 230?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. I move to recommend to town council ordinance number 230, chapter 155 zoning amendments.
Second.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Our last order of business is our review of the monthly in-house permits that were issued.
So the townhomes are starting.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, yeah,
I just had another
Good
8
timing.
submitted today.
wow, there you go. Remind me when the apartments are being started around the same time?
Yeah,
or no?
they got their final approval at the council meeting
Right.
for the first building at last, two meetings
months.
ago.
Yeah.
But they still, we have to finalize the EDUs before, they don't have enough EDUs allocated already in the old plan for this next phase. So I just have to wrap up the expansion, but I think he's aiming for July timeframe to
Okay.
start on that.
That all,
Yeah,
no,
that'll be
came
the-
back to me, sorry. Latricia.
Right, that'll be the recreational building and one apartment building.
Right, okay, thank you.
And we haven't been able to record the record plats because we can't write a letter to the health department allocating those EDUs, so that's.
Right, until we
yeah,
get the
that's
plant complete. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. That's it?
I have to say that I have had lots of people asking me about what is happening on the corner of Church and Lawrence. Where all, that's
The
where,
the little houses.
that's where the
That's
little
the
house.
bird.
And people say, is there room to walk between them? Are they supposed to be that close?
The little
What is
cottages.
happening? Then somebody says, is that a great big house? And so it's generated a lot of,
I think it's gonna be really neat. I do. I think people
I
are gonna
already
like it when they get them
to
done.
buy one.
Yeah. Oh,
They're not
yeah,
gonna be
I don't
for
think
sale,
so.
though.
No,
They're
it'll be
They're
just-
rentals.
Yeah, rental. But I think it'll be it'll be an example for other places, I think, once they see them done.
Yeah, they are remarkable looking, the way they have done them. They've been close.
But they haven't started the ones on that back end, because there were gonna be some on that back
Yeah,
end.
there's 8 total.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't pulled those
They
permits.
haven't pulled those yet.
No. I think the idea a lot of times with contractors, and I'm only making this assumption, I've seen them do it before, is they'll do 4 and get people into those to help justify the next 4 kind of a thing, you know?
Yeah.
well, probably also to
Financially.
get some income so they can
Right,
afford to do
exactly.
the rest of them. But I just thought it was interesting that a lot of people mentioned them to me.
Yeah, that's gonna be look different, but I think it's gonna be fun.
Okay, are we ready for a motion for adjournment?
Yes. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.